Hi, hello to everyone. Well, my name is Valeria Díaz. I'm going to talk about my project. Yeah. In this case, the name is Navigating the Past Using Games, Activities, and Practice to Improve Accuracy in Past Tense Narratives. Yeah. Okay, well, this project emerged from some challenges that I could notice when I was giving classes in my job. Yeah, in this case in A2 English level classes, right? And is that the students used to have some kind of mistakes, errors when they were talking and describing past vacation experiences. The first one related to grammar accuracy, they had some problems using the grammar in past, yeah, conjugating the verbs, yeah, the regular and irregular verbs, even if it was in affirmative, negative, or interrogative. It was a challenge for them, especially in the last two, because, for example, they created some kind of sentences, yeah, like he didn't saw, or, well, things like that, conjugating the verb in past two also, even if it's negative or interrogative. And we know that, well, it has to be in the base form, right? Okay, and the other challenge that I could notice is that they were having some kind of problems, yeah, with the phonological accuracy. In this case, more specifically with the regular verbs and the ed pronunciation. Why? Because they used to pronounce these verbs, these regular verbs, as it, yeah, as we pronounce it in Spanish. And well, we know that there are three different kinds of pronunciations in English. The t, d, and it. Yeah. So well, I could notice these kind of gaps for say it in some way. Is for that reason that emerged the following research question, and is how can A2 level English learners improve their use of the simple past and ed pronunciation of regular verbs through games and practice? Okay, well, to understand or have a wide panoramic about, well, this topic and these challenges, yes, I search different documents, articles that talk about this situation with the simple past tense and the pronunciation of the students, how to improve these grammatical aspects, and so on in a funny way. In that way, is that I found five different authors. Yeah, Romero and Troya, 2023, Hasby et al., 2024, Ojeda, 2011, Lindy Wadi et al., 2021, and finally Ovalina 2010, right? So, okay, well, all of them, what they have in common is that through different kinds of activities, games, practice, and so on, they achieve that the students could practice, could improve the ed pronunciation, and also, well, the accuracy of the use of the grammar, also improving a lot the speaking. Yeah, in this case, well, these authors, these articles were key in my project. Why? Because allow me to have a wide panoramic about how, of course, I could implement, yeah, or try to design or improve, in this case, the students abilities, process and learning process, talking about the simple past tense. Yeah, so well, in all those researches it was possible to see that at the end, after different kinds of activities, yes, games, corrections activities in which the students were self-aware of the mistakes, yeah, they could improve, identify the different ed pronunciations, and improve in this aspect, as well as the conjugation of the different verbs, regular and irregular verbs, even in affirmative, negative, and interrogative. Okay, well, talking again about my project, yeah, okay, talking about the plan and ethics. Okay, well, during this term, the idea was to keep in mind the action research methodology. Yeah, the well, for that, in this case, I took into account Kimi's and McTaggart 1988 proposal. Why? Because there are different kinds of action research. So, well, I decided to do it with the steps, yes, the four different steps that these authors propose. The first one is plan, the second one is act, three, observe, and four, reflect. Yeah, the participants of my project were A2 English learners. Yeah, and the instrument, sorry, a test, yeah, in this case, well, two different tests, one at the beginning, other at the end. Observations, yes, during two classes, developing different kind of activities, and also a survey to know the students perception about their own knowledge, right? Okay, well, now talking about the intervention and data collection. Okay, well, as I was mentioning before, well, this project was developed in four different classes. Yeah, each one was focused on one of the different steps proposed by Kemis and McTaggart. Yeah, in this case, well, the first class was focused on plan, the second one, in this case, act, three, observe, and four, reflect. Yeah, okay, so well, in this case, well, in plan, of course, some kind of activities were done. In this case, also, well, the different structure, grammar, and use of the simple past was um, explained, of course. And after, well, some kind of activities, games, and so on. Also, it was included a test, yeah, for collecting data about the knowledge that the students acquire after this explanation, right? All right, well, after that, during the second class, yeah, well, it was focused on act. In this case, I did really dynamic activity, yeah, in which, well, the students had to run, yeah. Well, the students were divided in two teams. They had to go to the board and conjugate the verb if it was regular, irregular, and also practicing that way their pronunciation, yeah. Well, other activity related to the ed pronunciation too, related to the sat in a circle, and well, they had to pronounce the correct verb, and also the rest of the classmates had to pay attention and repeat that, and also mention other, and well, and so on. There was really focused on ed pronunciation, right, and identify some mistakes, talking about the grammar. In this case, well, an observation was conducted, yeah, and the class 3 was focused on observe. Also, an observation was done. In this case, well, talking about, well, when the students were like preparing a kind of storyboard for later on they could present, yes, record, in this case, the description of final past vacation experiences, yeah. And well, of course, they had to upload these to a Padlet. And well, in class 4, the other class, it was reflect, yeah. In this case, well, it was really focused. Well, of course, an activity was done too to be like dynamic, yeah. In this case, with a game in Jeopardy, talking about the different conjugations, the use of grammar, the different three ed pronunciations, and how to identify them, and so on. And at the end, well, I played two audios anonymously, and well, the students had to, of course, well, in this case, yeah, like pay attention, identify mistakes, and of course comment about the positive aspects, and yeah, the positive aspects, and the other maybe recommendations, talking about the recording, yeah. In this case, in this class, it was implemented the second test, again reviewing the knowledge that they acquire about the simple past, and also a survey to know, well, the students' perception about the improvement of the pronunciation, the ED pronunciation, their activities that were proposed, and if, of course, they were useful, or yeah, what was their perspective, as well as in this case, well, the use of grammar again, yeah. Something that I want to clarify is that when the students fill these Google forms and so on, they accepted, yeah, they gave the permission of collecting data, right? All right, and well, at the end, all this information was analyzed and so on, and it was possible to see that through games, activities, practice, yeah, well, the tests, observations, and surveys show that these different kind of activities, yes, allow to improve the use of the simple past, the ed pronunciation, as well as the conjugation of affirmative, negative, and interrogative sentence, and also with the activity of the recording, yeah, the audio recording telling the or explaining, describing the vacation past experience. Yes, also they were improving, practicing the speaking fluency. Of course, this is a process, the students have to continue practicing and so on, but at the end of the day, yes, well, basically it was possible to see a great improvement in that, and that it was successful, this intervention, right? So, okay, well, that's it. And thank you so much for listening.